Good day, everyone. It's me, Osmary.
Hi, welcome guys, Philippe here.
Welcome to our second episode for the Seekers podcast. And today, we're going to speak about a balance between practicality and spirituality. So, I just have this discussion today with Philippe, talking about should I say previous life? I guess I can say previous life.
Yeah, all right, you can.
That life, that life I had wherein I have to wake up early in the morning. I have to prepare for work, rushing most of the time. I have to take the metro, living in Paris. I have to arrive in the office on time, work, take lunch, or maybe I don't even have time to eat lunch. Work straight until 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Go back home, exhausted due to daily meetings, eat eat my dinner, and then go back to sleep, repeat. Which in summary I believe is called the 9 to 5 life. And then I came to a point wherein I know there's something more to that kind of life. The problem is, how do I start? Where do I start?
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it, managing that?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Especially if you're not once you start gaining awareness and you start to move into that area of you start to question those things, then it becomes a second problem. Because the first problem is you're stuck in the 9 to 5, as you said. The second problem becomes how do I get out of it? So you
I
end up
think,
with two problems in
yeah,
the end.
the problem starts once you wake up, which is the awareness that there's something more to life
Yeah.
than that. Go to work, wake up, go to work, come back home, eat, sleep, repeat. Now, the question is, how do you embrace spirituality and practicality? Let's be honest. We need to pay the bills at
Yeah.
the same time. Spirituality and practicality at the same time.
Yeah, it's tricky. I remember back when you were talking about your work in Paris, the 95 life. It took me
It's
back to,
actually the 9 to 8 p.m. Like,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Um, I think I was a little bit more fortunate because I wasn't in the corporate life, as it were. Although I was skirting on the edges, working in aviation, I had flying as a commercial pilot at the time. I had more time than you had. And I think when I had my awakening, I found that I was able to balance both sides. I was able to dedicate enough time so I could satisfy my hunger for searching for this new knowledge, new aspects. So I think I was lucky in that respect. Not everybody has the opportunity to have that balance. And fortunately, I think once I started doing that for the rest of my life up till today, I've always managed to dedicate some time to the spiritual side. So I didn't feel like I was missing out. I felt like, I'd come home from work and I'd straight onto meditation, into yoga and things like that. So I felt accomplished on both sides. So it doesn't sound like it was as difficult as what you were describing, for me anyway.
Lucky you. Because for me, that was 17 years of my life. But the awakening happened probably 10 years. So 7 years is just, I was fully asleep. Then I woke up, which I discussed in in our first podcast.
Yeah,
And the moment I woke up, because the moment you wake up, you're seeking for answers.
yeah,
Because it starts with a question. What is it what's the life beyond this kind of life? But then the answer is vague in general.
Well, there is no answer because nobody can tell you,
Exactly.
unless you specifically go and ask somebody who's been through the same journey, nobody can tell you. I remember for me I would go into bookshops and just go hunting for books that would attract my attention. And I would get to see and hear and read about people's experiences and similar things. So for me, that was a way of discovering, of finding, looking, looking for that knowledge that I knew was out there somewhere, somehow, that I needed to find. So that for me, that it was that search. Yeah,
For me, I think I started searching. Well, Google is a best friend, can be a best friend.
can be. Yeah,
YouTube can be a best friend. So I started watching videos. I also started um, doing meditation, guided meditation, which was so difficult way back then. Honestly, to start even a guided meditation way back, it was so difficult for me. My mind is everywhere. And I can understand if people tell me now it's so hard to meditate because it is in the beginning.
yeah.
So yeah, I started my spirituality process, if you may call it like that, with watching YouTube videos of people who have done it, and as well meditation. Was it enough? No.
It's never enough. Even today at the level that we're operating at now, there's always a need to discover more. The hunger for wisdom as a developing soul. Once you awaken that hunger, you think it's strong at the beginning. It just, for me, it just increases. As you discover
Yeah.
more things, you know there has to be something more behind it. It's a good thing. For me, it was always a good thing because it kept me centered, it kept me on the path, and it kept me focused. And because of I love to explore, so for me it was perfect, you know, to go down that road. But as you say, for you, you found YouTube and Google and things like that. For me, I found books that had a powerful message. When you read a line that says something that makes you go sit back and go, "Wow, what did I just read?" Yeah, something that's empowering, something that's thought provoking, something that makes you want to put the book down, go
Mm.
away, contemplate it, meditate on it. For me, that was my source of inspiration of to keep me. It fed my soul. It fed me. It gave me energy, and it gave me energy to go and explore further. So yeah, we've all got our ways of doing things, I guess.
Yeah. Even if we did different things, we still went the same direction. We seek information to satisfy that missing piece that we just discovered, to
Yeah,
find answers.
yeah, yeah,
So I guess the first one into embracing spirituality, but at the same time being practical, is one, to get more information with reliable sources
yeah.
through readings, watching videos, interviews of people who have undergone that journey, and learning from their experience.
Absolutely. And I think today I see there's such a difference. When I first started on this path, I had nobody to turn to. I knew nobody that had had similar experiences. There was nothing publicized there. There was very few material. There was very few people that I could turn to for support and say, this just happened to me. What does it mean? What can I expect next? I had none of that support. So in that way, I had to do all this exploration by myself, which is okay, because I like doing that. But today, as you say, there's YouTube and there's lots of, material to find. You can hear other people's experiences, which brings me to the next point is that this is why we are here. Yeah. You and I, Seekers Podcast, Awesome World, Universal Truth. We are here so that people can come and ask us questions. So how did you cope when you face these difficulties, which is different, which is a different, completely different world to back then, yeah?
Exactly. Because now we have a lot of available sources. And as you mentioned, it is our goal to share our story, our experience to help other people who just started their spiritual journey. As it says, the Seekers podcast, in the middle of their spiritual journey or have advanced in their spiritual journey because it's a never ending process.
Absolutely.
We always learn something new each day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the second question is, what would you do as soon as you have all the information you understood, you learned? What would be the next step after that? Because as we said, it's a never ending process.
Yeah. One of the, I think one of the biggest lessons, if not the greatest lesson to success in moving forward and evolving as a soul that's searching for knowledge, for wisdom, is to be able to find a way to integrate that knowledge, to find a way to make it your own, so that it's only when you make it your own experience, yeah, that you integrate the knowledge, and this is where you grow. So it's finding a way. You can read other people's books, and that's okay, but it's their experience. You need to develop your own experience, make it your own experience, so that you can integrate. And this is where you grow. This is where you evolve. So for me, is it possibly the biggest lesson apart from facing fear? I would say yes. It's about integration. And if we are too scared to face and to go into those experiences, then we will never integrate them. So it's like full circle, isn't it?
Exactly. I actually read a book by Michael Singer, The Surrender Experiment. It's a good book. I would highly recommend to people. And then I also, because I discovered him, I also read his other book entitled Untethered Soul, wherein he spoke about observing your thoughts. That for me was the second step of my spirituality or awakening, which what you are saying, to integrate what you've learned. I was able to develop and create awareness with my thoughts and being able to understand and see my thought patterns and to be able to stop it when I go so deep down to the negative path, if
Yeah,
that makes sense with what I'm saying.
absolutely. And that's an important level of awareness that you need to reach so that you don't continuously go down that sliding down that hill. No? So you stay this side of the hill. You don't slide down into negativity, as you say. So
Yeah,
that takes a certain level of awareness, which of course you reach. But not only that, but it takes a certain level of strength, of inner strength. You have to draw on that inner strength to stay out of that place, that potentially could a negative place. So that takes a lot of inner strength. I don't think people actually realize that it all sounds nice and fluffy, this incense and candles and spiritual development and meditation circles. It's not all fluffy and gentle and little bunny rabbits, and it's work, it's hard work.
it is. Because after information, then comes integration, and then comes a way of life.
Absolutely. Yep. Where
So
you test yourself.
you have to develop a habit, you have to discipline yourself, having discipline, waking up early in the morning. So you have enough time to meditate, to silence your mind, stopping your thoughts when your thoughts creates this storyline that doesn't even exist
Yeah.
because the brain just loves to do that,
Uh-huh.
and get into a stage or a level wherein even if you're in an office in a stressful situation, even if you don't want what people are saying, you are at a level wherein you can do a big inhale, exhale, And then you tell yourself, there's more to life than this.
Yeah, absolutely.
My ego is talking. I need to be the controller of the situation.
Yeah,
I need to control my ego to not to react. That takes a lot of work to reach that level,
it does.
way of life.
Yeah. I was talking to a client about similar issues today, earlier this morning. And yeah, I mean, and these are, recently it was highlighted to me. I had an experience, it was highlighted to me about allowance, awareness, peace, unconditional love, unity consciousness, all being on the same spectrum, frequency spectrum. And the introduction, the allowance is the first phase, and that first phase is the beginning of unconditional love. Because how do we know this? Because we take out judgment and we replace it with contemplation. So there's a query, but there's no expectation of response. And it's we allow people to be who they are without judgment. So it's the beginning phase of unconditional love. And that,
Which is
yeah,
actually so difficult to do.
takes discipline as well. Yeah. But it's something that we aspire to. And from my experience, it's something that you arrive at. You continue working on yourself, and soon you arrive in this place. So it is important to have people like ourselves to talk to and say, I'm in this phase. This is what I'm experiencing. What can I expect? And why am I struggling? Am I missing something? Because obviously we've been through some of these aspects, so we can speak from experience. And this is why we're here, right?
It's hard and the word struggle because you are becoming.
Yeah.
It's a you are the old self to the new self. You are in the transition.
Yes.
You are building habits. You are trying to build yeah, executing discipline. If everybody has discipline, the world will be a better place. So it's hard.
Absolutely.
Patience, because you feel that it's a never ending process of just discipline, work, questions. You find answer, then more questions.
Yeah.
But then once you reach a level, it as I've said, it becomes a way of life. Then it's not so hard to wake up early in the morning, do a meditation, silence your head, your mind when other people are talking and you don't want what they're saying.
Yeah. As you say, it takes discipline. It has to become a way of life. And the only way for it to become a way of life is to keep doing it until it becomes automatic.
Habit, automatic.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Keep doing it. And in the beginning, it's when it's hard. And in the beginning, and this is when you need the support, to keep
It's
you
true.
keep you from losing focus. So yeah, that's why we're here. So we're arriving towards the end of our time today. Time has flown already. It's gone quite
Uh,
quickly.
Probably the next question is it worth embracing full spirituality and leaving the life behind? That 9 to 5 job.
Everybody will give you a different answer, obviously, because everybody has a different perspective. Everybody's in a
Exactly.
different
That's why
place
I'm
of
throwing it
development.
out there. I want
Yeah.
to hear what people would say.
So yeah, I mean, for me, I would still do everything the same. I'm sure you would, answer the same question, even though it's still not easy. We've gone from a difficult 9 to 5 to a not extremely difficult, but still a challenging non-9 to 5, which we have to adjust everything about our lives, about our habits, what we do, how we do things. So it's a complete turnaround. It's exiting that matrix that we like to talk about,
Mm.
that 9 to 5 matrix. So yeah, it's tough, but you're not alone. We're not
It's
alone. You know, we're here to support each other. And this is why we exist. Um, this is why we're here.
personally for me, I don't regret my life in that 9 to 5 job because I learned a lot. It was part of my maturity process. Would I advise everybody to take the path that I did? No, because it's hard. You need to be mentally strong. It requires a lot of mental strength to live this kind of life, to really fully embrace spirituality and become your bread and butter, if I may say so.
Yeah,
But you can still be spiritual even if you are in that a working environment, 9 to 5 job.
absolutely.
You can still embrace it. You can still like we have our Facebook community, Universal Truth in association with Awesome World. You can check us out on Facebook, wherein we post a lot of information about spirituality process to be able to support you. You can also find other information. You can find communities or people who are in the same path, and you can share and discuss.
Yeah, it's about support, as you say. The big thing is about feeling supported. There's nothing worse than feeling alone, especially when you're going down this unknown path. You need support. You need someone to say, to turn to say, oh, I had this experience. What does it mean? You know, not to be left wondering on your own.
Yeah, because like for me, I was alone, and sometimes I don't know. Maybe there would be a time in that process that you really need to be alone.
Oh, yes, that happens a lot. You go through phases. I'm sure you also know this. Yeah, you go through phases where you withdraw completely. You don't want to see, hear, or talk to anybody. You just want to go sit in the corner and just process things. Yeah, and come out the
Yeah.
other side. So it's necessary. It's very necessary because that's when some of the growth happens. So yeah, but it's
And
not being
yeah,
afraid to do that. Hearing the fact that it's normal and it's okay, and tomorrow the sun will still shine. Yeah, there is an end. It's a cycle. There is an end to that cycle. It
exactly.
doesn't continue forever. So sit tight, observe, see what the message is, and then move into the next cycle. That's the secret of coping, should I say, or managing this path. Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, so first step, when you wake up and have that awareness, information. Second step, integration of that information.
Hmm.
Third step is to repeat the integration process and practice it until it becomes automatic. Third step, way of life.
Correct. Yeah.
Now the probably the tipping question is, should you embrace spirituality 100% to be your bread and butter, or should you stay in that 9 to 5 job? There is no right or wrong answer.
Absolutely.
It's a matter of, do you have what it takes, mental strength, and I personally, the ability to let go and surrender and really trust the universe that everything will work out.
Yeah.
Because we are conditioned to plan. We are conditioned to create strategy. I know because I have business degrees, so everything needs to have a plan, a roadmap, a smart goals. And once you embrace this kind of life, you have to really put trust that everything will work out. Even if you don't see results, you just really have to trust.
Yeah. I think it's in going down this road for me is I started to understand what faith was. Yeah. Trust and truth and all those things boil down to this inner knowing, faith that it will work. It will work out.
Yeah.
It's the correct thing to do. It's the right thing to do. It's now is the time to do it. You have to arrive at this place where suddenly you have the realization, now it's time. Because planning it and saying, next year I'm going to do this, this, and this, good luck. It
Yeah.
doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that.
Although I have to say, if you decide not to fully embrace spirituality and still stay in the world of 9 to 5, there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
As I've said, this kind of lifestyle is not for everybody, but you can still embrace spirituality.
Yep.
And practice the steps we just mentioned. One, awareness. Two, integration by repeating everything that you read and making it in a way of life. Best practices,
Yeah.
discipline.
And absolutely. And then when the time is right, following those steps, you will know. You will know
And
when
yeah, I forgot
time to change.
support system.
Support system is big as well, yeah. Um, but you will know when the time is right. Um, and yeah, it's happening to a lot of people at the moment. 2024 is the year of change. So it's happening to many,
Indeed.
many people. So, but yeah, we're here to support each other. So
Exactly. So I guess that's the wrap for our
today, yeah,
podcast today.
episode 2 is
Before I
done.
forget, if you are at this stage of spiritual process and you're planning to you want to amplify, me and Philippe have a spiritual journey and pilgrimage to Egypt in November 7 to 13 to be exact.
Mhm.
And it's a 7 day. It's actually it's to feel, harness, integrate the power of the pyramid, and we will provide ancient teachings, energy management, understanding energy blocks. We have the full agenda. You can visit. We can put the link in this video,
Yeah,
and you can check. It's for limited spots.
yeah, perfect. But it's exciting. Looking
Yeah,
forward
because we're
to it.
talking about the spirituality and practicality. Maybe you're not gonna be able to fully embrace the spirituality, but what we're doing in this trip, it can help you embrace that spirituality while maintaining that balanced life.
Yeah, it's doable. Absolutely. Right. So, well, thank you very much for being here, Osmani, today. It was great.
Well, thank you too.
Interesting
That was a
discussion.
good topic. Until our next topic, if you have suggestions, please comment down below because we will be releasing podcast every week.
Yeah. So perfect. So yeah, great. So I hope everybody has found this useful, and we'll see everybody for episode 3.
Next week.
Exciting.
Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye.